us. We understand that there's some audio issues, but we're glad that you have stuck with us.
Yeah.
And
can you hear us?
If you guys
let us know in the chat if you can hear us.
Yeah, talk with us in the chat. But today is all about power.
Feeling
Instant
powerful.
Power.
Yeah.
Dude, I grew up on these things.
Did
man.
you? These
My
are good,
guilty pleasure was to always eat these things.
Did you eat them raw, or did you actually
Now,
cook them?
a little thing you wouldn't know, maybe you do know, is this is a great snack to eat raw.
Yeah, oh yeah.
What
I
you
know
do
that. That's
is-
why I asked you.
Should I eat it right now, raw?
Go for it. Okay, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I think so. They used to sell these to us, and you would just put the seasoning in the pack and then crush the noodles up, and then you can have a grand old time, you know?
You have a quick fix.
It's a quick fix.
It's a quick fix.
Literally a quick fix. There's no hot water nearby.
What does it take, like, I don't know, 2 minutes to cook that? But you're like, I don't have 2 minutes.
No.
I'm a busy guy.
But it's actually quite delicious when you do it this way. So I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but this was my lunch and dinner most days.
Yeah, and I love that this power noodles, it says more, never enough, right?
Yeah.
Never enough. Having more power is never enough. In the worldly standards, right? That's not what we're talking about today. Well, welcome to Quick Summary. We have some instant tea here. I'm gonna make for us with some hot water.
Yeah, let us know what you thought about the sermon. Certainly a lot for us to think about, right?
Yeah.
Based on what Pastor Eric shared with us. But thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So hey, as Pastor Tim and I were talking and discussing about what we'd start talking about, we thought we could talk about the most powerful villains in movie.
Yes.
So type in the chat, who are your favorite villains and why? The specific reason for why you love those specific villains.
Had the most power or wanted the most power. What do you think?
But-
What do we think?
So we can't talk about villains without first talking about Thanos.
Thanos. I think in my lifetime, probably the most powerful villain that I've ever seen on a movie.
Yes.
I mean, because he got all the power. He got all of it.
Yes.
The 6 Infinity Stones.
Yes.
He did the snap, wiped out half the universe.
So here's what I want to discuss, though. I want to kind of discuss what motivated, because there's different aspects of power. I mean, we can all say villains love power, but what was his specific motivation?
You know, there's a theory out there that Thanos did nothing wrong. That a lot of people think that Thanos had justifiable actions, that the universe was getting corrupted itself, that they were overtaking resources and people were trying to take too much in the world, and so he's like, let's just get rid of half of the population.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, it's wrong. You can't go about it that way, but you know.
Let's take away the
He
whole
seemed to
idea
have altruistic,
Let's
motivation.
take away the whole act of deleting half the population.
Right.
Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Avengers,
It's been a couple
that
years.
was 4 years
It's too
ago.
late.
But he definitely snapped and
Yeah.
half the population disappeared. I call it the Christian rapture. But but take that act away.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you think his motivations were well-founded?
I don't know. It's a good one. I mean, to him, yes.
Try some of this.
He thinks it was, but the way the ends didn't justify the means. I don't think, right? This is good. This is so good.
This is power instant.
I just want more power.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, is there another villain that you like?
I'm trying to think. I mean, I remember we were talking about you don't remember this, Kevin. You're younger, but Batman Forever. I remember the Riddler was all about getting more power, more brain waves. You know, he was sucking all the brain waves from everybody. That's one villain that always comes to mind for me. But hey, speaking of the '90s, good call on your sounds that you got. You nailed it with the PlayStation, and I figured that Kevin, the gamer, would totally get the PlayStation sound immediately, right?
Yeah.
Which you did, which I want to bring up because, of course, Deep Thunder would get the video game sound, right? And speaking of power, Kevin, tell us about Deep Thunder from World of Warcraft. That's your new nickname here around the office, in case you didn't know that, Deep Thunder.
Tell you about the
powerful, right?
Okay. So, Deep Thunder The reason why Deep Thunder was good is because there's a chance on proc, which means you swing your axe, you swing your mace 10 times. There's a chance every 10, 15 times, or 10, 15% of the time, for it to completely stun another player.
Wow.
Which is a lot of power. So it's called chance on proc.
Yeah.
So the great value of Deep Thunder is it actually stuns the other player randomly. And when you do that, then you have a clear advantage. So definitely a good callback to
To a sermon.
to a sermon from a long time ago.
But thinking about power, I remember you talked about you wanted to get this weapon in the game because you felt really powerful, and then you sat around and you let people walk by you for a couple hours and just look at your weapon, and that's how you felt pretty powerful, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So, were you corrupted by that power a little
was.
bit? Okay.
I was.
Okay. He was corrupted by the power, and I wanted to bring up a few quotes that I pulled up as we were thinking about power. Some famous quotes about power, actually. Here's one from Abraham Lincoln. It says, "Nearly all men can stand adversity, but if you want to test a man's character, give him power."
Oh,
Wow, that's pretty good, huh?
what do you think about that? Like, what does that mean?
So, like, recently there was a hurricane in my home state, and a lot of people faced adversity through flooding and losing power, losing electricity, homes destroyed, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of men can withstand that type of adversity, right? If we're pushed to our limits and we need to survive, we can do it. But to really test our character, give someone power. And that would kind of corrupt us, I think, the more power we get.
Yeah, I see it a lot. Just people that are completely different, and you think, oh, they're going to be a great leader. They're capable. They have the skill sets. The moment you put them in power, it's like a switch flicks, and and they're just a completely different person. And you can see like that power has just gotten into their heads a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going back to villains. And speaking of Marvel movies, actually, great quote, which can't believe we didn't even talk about this, unless I totally missed it. With great power comes great responsibility.
Spider-Man.
Boom. Yeah, Uncle Ben said that.
Yeah.
When Peter Parker was getting his abilities. And we even see that power began to corrupt Peter Parker. I think it was Spider-Man 3. That was a weird one.
Yeah.
But with great power comes great responsibility. The origins of that quote is unsure.
Say the Bible.
People think it's from the French Revolution, possibly.
Oh,
we
sure.
would say it's from the Bible, Luke 12:48. From everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded. And from the one who has been entrusted with much, much more will be asked. So we know that if you have a lot of power, if you have much given to you, then much will be asked from you too, that you need to be entrusted well with that and handle it well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had that memorized, Dan.
Totally memorized. So just thinking about this idea of power, and Pastor Eric talked about pausing your power. What are some of your thoughts about that?
Yeah.
You mentioned that.
That hit me, and I was at the 9:30 service, so it was like I've been thinking about pausing your power for the past, I don't know, 2 hours. I was trying to think about all sorts of like creative ways that you can do it, but I think what Eric spotlighted was truly spot on. It's as simple as Sabbath, because we often think of Sabbath as just a time to rest, a time to recover, and God mandated it. But I really think that a major aspect of Sabbath is to remind yourselves who is in power, and to actually rest from your power and rest from your authority, in order to trust that God will work. And so, light went off, but that's cool.
Hey, we lost power. Oh man. Let's see. Can we
Maybe
handle
I said
this loss
something
of power? No worries. We'll keep going.
But what'd you think of pausing your power?
It's interesting because I kept trying to put myself in thinking about what position of power that I currently have, and what does power look like in my life. And the only thing I could really fully think of was with my kids and kind of being the authority figure in their life. It's coming. I can feel it coming. There it is. Having the authority over my children, which is the authority that was given to me by God, right? That I don't necessarily I don't own that authority. I'm a steward of that God has given me of my children. But having a teenager, having 2 teenagers actually, but one who is soon to be going to college in a few years, and kind of letting go, like feeling of not necessarily losing the power, but kind of pausing it with my children as they begin to kind of move on, and thinking like, I don't want to abuse any kind of power. I don't want to think like, oh, I'm in control and you have to listen to what I say just because I say so. But what does it look like to use it the right way, to use it responsibly? Yeah, just kind of, I thought it was really interesting. And I feel like that's what I have to do with my kids a lot, is to pause it and listen to them, and to kind of think about how we can have a conversation.
So for the parents in the chat, pausing your power does not mean to sit and watch TV while your kids go crazy, right?
No, I do that all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. I didn't say that. You didn't say you couldn't do that.
Okay, all right. Well, I guess parenting is easy. Let's go, baby.
Yeah. Speaking of power, look what we got going on here.
Yeah.
We got a newcomers gathering. Is that happening right now?
That is happening
in this
right
moment.
now. So I guess that is our cue to kind of end this soon. Well, end this now.
Yeah.
So we have the power to stop this chat. Guys, thank you so much for joining us for Dim Summary.
Yeah, if you want to come
Quick
hang
summary.
out. Yeah.
This is always a fun time to just discuss the sermon.
But, come hang out with us next time. We got plenty of food if you'd like.
All right, guys.
All right.
See ya.
See ya.